What's up, basketball fans? Welcome into this episode of All Things NBA on the new channel. We've already done a couple episodes of All Things NBA over on my All Things Mavs channel. You guys know me. I'm Jimmy Crowther, aka All Things Mavs. I've got Austin Payne with me, aka All Things Thunder. Austin, first episode on the new channel. Tell them what to do.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So one, follow the new channel. If you guys haven't already, hit subscribe to this. Go follow Jimmy's YouTube channel, the one we've been on previously, and then find us on Twitter. I think we're also both on TikTok. So come find us.
That's what we do. So we got some NBA news, even though it's August. Things don't really happen in NBA August, but we got some news today from Shams. We got some schedule releases, like unofficial releases, I guess. We got some news on De'Aaron Fox this past week. Some rumors popping up about Giannis that we'll talk about a little bit, and then one tiny little transaction from the Boston Celtics that we'll have to hit on as well. But let's start at the top where everybody's kind of focusing on today, and that is the Christmas Day schedule. We've got 5 games. It's always 5 games. Spurs and Thunder, Mavericks at Warriors, Rockets at Lakers, Wolves at Nuggets, Cavs at Knicks. Give me your initial thoughts on this lineup. What are you excited about? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, my initial thoughts are there's only one game with Eastern Conference teams, which that tells me everything that we need to know about how even insiders and people inside the NBA are viewing the East. It's extremely weak. They've got their presumed number 1 and number 2 seeds in the East playing each other, which I think will be a great game. I'm excited for Cleveland versus the Knicks, but I got to start with the one that I'm personally most excited about, and it's the Spurs at Thunder. One, I'm just relieved to have a Christmas Day game. Like, I don't disagree if you said 2 years ago, hey, the Thunder are too young. They just got beat by the Mavericks. They all this different stuff. Like, I get that the Thunder were a young team, but I still thought it was extremely disrespectful that we were the number 1 seed and didn't get a Christmas Day game this past year. So I'm just excited to have one. I'm going to be there. It's going to be awesome. But specifically, this matchup excites me a lot. You and I have talked about it a little bit, but I have been getting on board with the idea that I think this year could actually be a big year for San Antonio. There's a few reasons. I do think, and we're going to get into this, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but the move to sign De'Aaron Fox, I do think shows that San Antonio is ready to win now. They are making a move. They're keeping a veteran that's still kind of in his prime to pair with Wembanyama to hopefully make a move. So I think there's a good chance the Spurs are good this year. Also, I can't get out of my mind the Knicks Spurs Christmas Day game from this past year. It was insane. I think both Mikal Bridges and Wembanyama dropped over 40. Wemby was hitting like 38-foot threes left and right. It was awesome. And then lastly, I am extremely excited to get any game where Chet plays Wemby. I know they weren't the same draft class, but like they've just been compared to each other constantly. They've kind of been viewed as the next era of big men. They both look the same. They both stretch the floor. And I love it. They didn't play much this past year. They played early in the season. And honestly, Chet just completely shut down Wemby in a way that I don't think's normal. They benched him for the entire second half. I was at that game. So that was really their only matchup. When we played the Spurs later in the year, Wemby wasn't playing. So I'm extremely excited about that. Like, I think they're going to be 2 good teams. It's going to be awesome to have a Christmas Day game in Oklahoma City. And then I am super excited about just the one-on-one matchup of Chet versus Wemby, which I think could be a matchup that's kind of going for a long time. So that's my initial takeaways. The rest of the games I love. Like, I think it'll be fun. Rockets LA, that should be a good game. And I think by December, I still expect both of those teams to be good. I expect the Lakers to start pretty strong. Like, I think if it doesn't work out for them, they'll kind of fade later in the year. So I think that'll be a highly ranked Western Conference battle. Super excited to see Cooper Flagg on Christmas Day playing against Golden State. Always great to see Steph playing on Christmas Day. And then Timberwolves Nuggets. Go ahead.
And that kind of leads me in. I was going to say, as my non-biased, like just a hoops fan view of this, like Spurs Oklahoma City is the matchup I'm most excited to watch, in all honesty. I think that'll be the 2 like most evenly matched teams of the group. Maybe Cavs Knicks is there too, but I don't know. Eastern Conference games just don't excite me that much. With the Mavs and Warriors, obviously being a Mavs guy, I'm very excited to watch the Mavs. I'm kind of disappointed that it's at Golden State, but it's going to be a return for Klay Thompson. And that's kind of they just keep juicing that up, and it's going to keep getting juice. But in all honesty, like the Warriors don't interest me at all. That is a team that I don't think is going to be very good next season. As of right now, they just haven't put pieces anywhere that I'm like thinking they're going to be anything worth watching. So in terms of basketball, I don't know if that's going to be the most exciting game
Yep.
of the day, but as a personal Mavs fan, yeah, it's going to be huge. I honestly, the Wolves Nuggets matchup, like what it's been ever since they were in the playoffs against
Yep.
each other, like it is just a fun matchup. I expect the Nuggets to be really, really good and revamped next season with all their new additions. Um, Rockets Lakers, I mean, that's that's the new look Rockets against basically the new look Lakers. Like we really don't know what this Lakers team looks like
Right.
with Luka Doncic at the helm of it for a full season. And by then he's going to be very comfortable and hopefully, in as good of shape as everyone thinks he's going to be. Um, I can't complain. I think this is a great matchup. Kind of funny. I mean, it's interesting because you look at a couple years ago. I mean, if people look at this from last year, like, wait, Boston doesn't have has a Christmas
Yep.
Day game, or
Yep.
even Phoenix doesn't have a Christmas Day game. Like they've both had Christmas Day games so consistently, and it's just I think it's a really good look at like where the league is. Especially, I mean, we talk about 7 teams that have won this past 7 different teams that have won the past 7 championships. You can even look at these Christmas Day games and say, hey, we're getting to look at new players and new teams like on a regular basis. We don't have
Yep.
to watch the same, Jason Tatum led team or the same. I mean, even like the Clippers that were in it forever. Like this is just going to keep revolving. And I think that makes the league just more interesting in general.
Yeah, I agree. I think what really excites me about the San Antonio Oklahoma City game is the potential of just what it could be down the line. Because I think you and I are on the same page that this year, probably the two biggest threats to Oklahoma City are Houston and Denver. Now, with that said, Jokic is still in his prime, but like he is getting a little older. He's a guy that I don't think will be around in 8 to 10 years, like which that's a long ways away. But what I'm saying is he's not young, and he is the focal point of that team. The second Jokic is gone, no matter how good the pieces around him are, they're not going to be anything. Now, Houston's weird because they do have a lot of young guys, but the only reason we think Houston can contend this year is because of Kevin Durant. Now, Durant, I still think is an elite scorer, but he's 37 years old. Like he's getting older. And so I like that we've got these teams that I do think right now are the biggest threat at the top of the West with Denver and the Nuggets. But San Antonio and even Dallas, I've gone on record saying this before, those are two teams that I think long term will be at the top of the West. Like if you told
Yeah.
me in 6 years it's OKC, it's San Antonio, and it's Dallas, I wouldn't think that's crazy at all. And so we're getting a look at that early. We're getting a look at Cooper Flagg really early. I think it's just going to be an awesome slate on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I agree. I think, in my ideal world, being that I live in Oklahoma City, it would have been Mavs at Thunder, and we would have gone to this game together. It would have been
Yep.
so much fun. And honestly, it's just a good budding, like it was a budding rivalry, and then it
Yep.
died for like half a season, and now it's like back,
Yep.
like you've said. And that would have been a fun one. That would have been my only change, but that's just personally. I mean, again, from a generic NBA fan, like very exciting. But now we look at opening night because opening night also got somewhat leaked by Shams, and all of this can change, obviously. But as we know right now, the 2 games on opening night, again, Oklahoma City Thunder is going to get a home game. That'll be their banner night. They'll get their rings against Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets. Before we talk about the other game, as a Thunder fan, what does it mean to raise a banner and get a ring placed on these guys' fingers in front of Kevin Durant?
Dude, it means everything. Like I was in Crest today. I was shopping and I see this tweet come out from Shams, and I'm not joking, like at all. I stopped my cart and I retweeted it. I sent a tweet out, and I literally had goosebumps. I was excited about the Christmas Day game. Obviously, I think it's going to be an awesome matchup. But like, what this means to Oklahoma City, I think is just crazy. Like Shai is going to have a night. Like, obviously, he won MVP. He's had all these moments, but Shai is about to get recognized for having one of the most historic seasons from a guard ever by the hanging of the banner and by everyone on the team getting their rings. And he's getting all of this awarded to him, and the world is going to see it in front of the guy that couldn't do it for us. And like, obviously Durant is incredible and he did so many things for Oklahoma City, but he never won us a title. And it's going to be about 8 years after Durant left, and he's going to be sitting there on the bench waiting to get announced as the banner falls it's going to be insane in there, and it's just going to be an awesome environment. Like I already told my wife the second it came out, I was like, I'm going. Like I don't care how much money it is. Like I'm going to be there. It's going to be an incredible moment for this city, and it's just like the official slamming the cover of the book closed on Kevin Durant. It's like,
It's so
and
it's so
yeah,
perfect. Like the NBA knew what they were doing, and this is a perfect way, like you said, to put the nail in the coffin of the Kevin
mhm,
Durant saga, which has been done for a long time. But
yeah,
to be able to do it in this way is gonna be really exciting to see. And then the other opening night game, another California teams go up against each other, the Warriors and the Lakers. I don't know. Again, I just talked about how I don't find the Warriors very interesting. I'm more interested to just watch Luka Doncic and the new look Lakers kind of play on opening night. Again, until the Warriors do something, I'm just not very interested in
Ye-
talking too much about them because they are a team that is built for the postseason, but they're built, I don't know, almost so poorly for the regular season that I'm not sure it's a guaranteed done deal they even are going to get there to
yeah,
compete at this point. So
yeah.
those are the two opening night games.
This just feels kind of like a battle of big brands because I
Yeah.
mean, every part of me thinks that if the chemistry on the Lakers is even okay, they should destroy Golden State.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like what Golden State has left. They'll always have Steph Curry, but I don't know. I'm not overly intrigued with this game besides seeing
And
Luca,
then
like you said.
yeah, yeah. And then the only other like game we kind of have gotten leaked was from Mark Stein. The Spurs will play at Dallas on October 22nd. So not opening night officially, but opening night for these two teams. And this is, you talked about Wembanyama and you talked about a little bit about Darren Fox. We're going to get to see Dylan Harper, number 2
Mhm.
pick, up against Cooper Flagg, the number 1 pick. And then, I mean, the Mavs and Spurs have had some good battles with Wemby and Lively. Like Lively is a really, really good matchup on Wembanyama. The way you said Chet shuts down Wemby, like I've seen Lively do it. And now we'll finally get a healthy Lively and hopefully a healthy Wembanyama back again in this matchup. But I'm really, really intrigued to see, again, Harper and Flagg probably aren't going to like defend each other that much, but they're still going to be on the court at the same time, being in the draft at the same time. They're going to be the 1 and 2 probably for rookie of the year, I would imagine. So I'm just excited to get the season going. I think we're like officially like 74 days away from this opening night, so I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. That game excites me because again, I can kind of sit back and enjoy the Mavs for what they are. Like I've made it extremely clear they mean nothing to me, and so I like that because I'm excited. Like I think everyone should objectively be excited to watch Cooper Flagg, and so it's fun for me to be able to watch that game with zero emotion involved because I couldn't care less about either team and see hopefully full strength Wemby against like a potential generational first round pick. So I love the game. Seems like a fun matchup.
Yeah, it will be. And we're speaking of the Spurs. Let's go ahead and move to some more of the news that we got. De'Aaron Fox, who would have been a free agent next season and would have been one of the more coveted free agents next season, gets a $229 million max extension with the Spurs. I'll give you my thoughts first, and I think you're going to echo a lot of what I'm going to say. But for a team that has just drafted Dylan Harper at number 2, they just drafted a rookie of the year in Stephon Castle last year. This is a lot of money to invest in a guard that, in my opinion, is not a max player. I don't know somebody would have given him max money, but it would have been a very desperate team. I don't think it would have been another contender to give him this kind of max money. They were basically bidding against themselves. And I know they traded pieces to go get him, and they kind of had to make this deal because they can't just let him walk for nothing. But it's still like this is going to be a hard contract to trade. I think. I don't know. I'm going to go through some other players that are making similar money here in a minute, but you go ahead and give your thoughts on it.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you two questions, and that was the first one. Do you think that contract is tradable?
Somebody that needs a star would trade for De'Aaron Fox. Somebody that needs to put fans back in seats would make a deal for him, or somebody that is very desperate. I mean, crazy scenario, but let's say I can only talk for my team because I'm up close and personal with them. Let's say Kyrie's injury is worse than we think, and they desperately need a guard, and they go combine salaries like Clay, PJ, and somebody else to go get a Fox. Like maybe if there's like a catastrophic injury to another player, but I think that's the only way for a team that really is desperate. Maybe.
That's a little bit of what confuses me because I think in general, I would say, yes, that contract is tradable, but I'm not sure if it's going to be tradable for the Spurs. Like, I don't know if the Spurs come trade deadline can put him on the market and get something that they want back. They might be able to. I could be wrong about that, but the fact that we're up in the air about that makes me think that it's not the best move. The second question I wanted to ask you, do you think if we go back 6 months and we could tell the GM of the Spurs, you are going to wind up with the second overall pick and Dylan Harper will still be on the board, do you think they make the trade for De'Aaron Fox still?
I don't think so, because at that point you have to look at it and be like, okay, we got to invest in this guy and make sure he develops well. And Fox is going to take minutes away from Dylan Harper, and I think Dylan Harper has a chance to be very, very special. Let's look back at like what they gave up, because I just had to look it up. I wasn't really sure.
Yeah.
Now they gave up not much. I mean, it was City Sissoko. They gave up Zach Collins, and then there were a bunch of picks like swapped around. Like San Antonio gave up their 2027 first round pick, and I think they gave up some seconds that belonged to somebody else. The Bulls got their 2025, because this was a 3-team trade. So the Bulls got like their 2025 first round pick back from the Spurs. So the Spurs technically could have had 3 first round picks in this year's draft. And I think if you could go back and just tell them that and say, hey, you can just use another draft pick. Like, I don't think they care about giving up Zach Collins or City Sissoko or even Trey Jones. But if you could tell them, hey, you can hold on to another first round pick and you're going to get, I don't think they would do it. I don't think that it makes sense to go back and continue to do this trade again.
Yeah, I agree. So that's kind of where I'm at. I agree with most of what I agree with all of what you said. I will say, with all of that in mind, I do think, and this is kind of what I mentioned a minute ago when we were talking about the Christmas Day matchup, I do think that them signing him does show some kind of win now desires from the front office, because as much as I love Dylan Harper, I'm extremely high on him as well. Young players, regardless of how good they are, rookie year don't contribute to winning. Like, they really just don't.
Let me throw this out there.
Okay.
I think this makes Stephon Castle very tradable. I know he won Rookie of the Year, but he won Rookie of the Year in one of the worst draft classes we've seen in a long time in terms of top tier talent. They've got a lot of good players in there that'll be good for a while, but just like role player good. I think what I would honestly do is I would lean toward keep Fox, because Fox is smaller and Harper's bigger. You could play them together. Fox can play off ball. Harper can play off ball. I can't say I watch a lot of Spurs games. I don't really understand. I don't know Stephon Castle's game that well, besides being an explosive athlete. I think he becomes the tradable piece of that trio of guards they have now, in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, you might be right. I don't like that. Like, I watched a decent amount of Spurs games. I loved what I saw from Stephon Castle, and like, I'll go on record and say it was a terrible draft class, but like, he might have some potential above good role player. Like, I like him a lot. His development seems to be coming along. Like, his shooting got really good as the season went. So I don't know. That's just hard for me, but I do agree with you. Like, I do think there's going to have to be a world where you can play 2 of those guys at the same time. Like, you have to get 2 on the floor at the same time, or else you're just being dumb. You cannot get 3. And like, I just don't see it working long-term. If you're talking about good development of young players, like, if you were just wanting to fit them in small rotation minutes, you could make it work. That's not what you're trying to do with Stephon Castle or Dylan Harper. So I don't know. It's a very weird move. I think if I felt extremely confident that they could get what they would want from a Fox trade later in the year, maybe. Because like, I do think they're missing a bit of a traditional like power forward. They could get something like that for him, but I just don't know how many teams will be willing to give up what San Antonio wants for that big of a contract.
Let's go through some guys that their contracts are a little less than De'Aaron Fox. Like, these are all the players that are making around the same kind of money. When you look at just overall value of their contracts. I think I'm looking at this right. This is on Spotrac, and they're always on top of it. But Devin Booker, valued lower than De'Aaron Fox. Karl Anthony Towns, valued lower than De'Aaron Fox. Steph Curry, although he's getting paid on a weird veteran contract. Zach LaVine, Luka Doncic is going to be making less than De'Aaron Fox, which is insane. Obviously, he would have been able to make more if he had stayed with Dallas. Trae Young making less than De'Aaron Fox, Joel Embiid, OG Anunoby. Then you kind of get to some rookie contracts and older veteran guys. But there's a lot of guys down. I mean, Shai obviously is down there too. Like Giannis is down there. These are all guys that I'm paying more than De'Aaron Fox easily.
Yeah, almost all of them. I mean, minus injuries for somebody like Embiid, those are all guys that you would want. And I also do want to say, like, I actually think more highly of De'Aaron Fox than some people do. Like, I think people are seeing this sticker price and freaking out. And again, I do think they overpaid. Like, if I was a GM with the young guards I had, I would not have given him this contract. But I do think he's a good player, and I think he'll add something
100%.
to this team that will help them win. But like, if you're telling me Devin Booker or Cat, those are all guys I'm taking before I take De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I don't want to. It is funny because he's still an all-star. He's still a great guard, but again, we're in August. We got to talk about most of it for a while we can. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But next thing we'll move on to the other little rumor that leaked out from Shams. And again, we talked about this before we hit record. I think Shams is just getting a little bored and he needs to get something out there. He says that nothing is quote unquote set in stone with Giannis staying in Milwaukee as of right now. He is still, quote, evaluating their situation, whatever that means. And my immediate thought is, man, this is a whole lot of nothing. I think Giannis is going to be happy with what they put around him for the most part this summer. I think they will be competitive in a weak Eastern Conference. And I think he's a guy that is loyal to his core and wants to finish his career in Milwaukee. Now, if they do something dumb and they just like really cannot figure out how to make this team win over the next couple of years, yeah, maybe he's like, I'm done. But I think this is a whole lot of nothing. Am I crazy? Am I wrong?
No, I agree. I mean, I real quickly looked up their over-under. I mean, their over-under's at 44.5, which is high, like, I think it's very possible that they hit the over. I think that's just explaining how weak everyone thinks the East is. And I'll be honest, I know Damian Lillard is really good. I never really saw it in Milwaukee. So tell me if this is crazy. This might just be overreacting in the middle of the summer, but is this roster that he has around him, is it a little better than last year's?
Yeah. I don't know. Cause I mean, it probably is because they'll have a full year with, hopefully Kuzma isn't as washed as he looks like he is. They'll have a real center. I mean, I'm sorry, but Brook Lopez did not look good last year. Miles Turner will be a big upgrade at that position. You get Cole Anthony. I mean, if you consider Damian Lillard blowing out his Achilles, then yes, I'd say it's better. Starting the season, maybe not, but ending the season, yes.
It's not much worse, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So I completely agree with you. Like, I think if you told me Giannis is playing his last season for Milwaukee this year, that's fine. Like, I might buy that. But I think it's kind of silly to assume that a move that big would happen this close to the beginning of the preseason. I don't even know who's in play for him at this point, like this late in the year. Like, obviously it sounds like New York is always ready to make a move on him, but I don't buy it. I think that it's just people trying to, like you said, I think Shams is bored out of his mind and he's probably hearing little bits and pieces of things and throwing it out there, but I can't see it being anything that happens soon.
I'll say this. I think there are 4 teams that could put a realistic package together. I think just off the top of my head, I haven't really dove into this very deeply, but if you really look into it, I think obviously the Thunder can put together a package for whoever they want. They have the young players to be able to do it and the draft picks to be able to go do it. They're not going to do that. The Spurs, if they're really serious about winning now, they could put a very good package together for Giannis with future draft picks. Start with Stephon Castle, maybe De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, Fox.
And then that's maybe that's where that trade ends up. But again, this is only if Giannis asks out. I do think the Knicks have a good package to put around. They have a lot of like role players. They have a lot of, you could start a trade with OG and that would be a very intriguing option. And then if the Mavs are like, you know what, we got to capitalize on Anthony Davis and Kyrie and we're going to trade Cooper Flagg. Or if Nico Harrison was really crazy and said, and was cool with it, Anthony Davis as a starting piece for a trade package. And Dallas has the Lakers pick. They have their own pick. They've got like PJ Washington, Klay Thompson. They've got enough pieces to where if Milwaukee's like, we don't want to completely blow it up, that could be interesting. But again, I don't think any of these happen.
Again, I know none of this is happening, but just amuse me here. You would eat that up, right? AD for Giannis?
As much as I want to just love Anthony Davis, I would trade him in a heartbeat for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not Cooper Flagg. Wouldn't even consider Cooper Flagg.
I agree.
I said that before the draft. When the Mavs won the lottery and there was still like it was still unclear whether or not Giannis wanted to stay. I tweeted something like, I love Giannis. He's one of my favorite. I think he's probably my favorite non-Maverick in the NBA. But I want Cooper Flagg. I want the 10 plus years to build rather than the 5 years with Giannis.
Right. And I think that makes total sense because people have come at me. And again, I get that sounds a little crazy, but I value youth so much in this league, especially youth that has proven to win, which is like why I'm such a big Chet guy. Like, assuming Chet can stay healthy, he's already shown he is good enough to be on a team that can win the title and contribute in meaningful ways. So I don't think that's crazy at all. I'd be all about that. But the AD trade, I'd be all over. I'm respect AD a ton. Think he's a top 10 player in the league, but that would make a whole lot of sense. But
I mean,
yeah, no, I go ahead.
Just humor me for a second. The Mavs go into the playoffs. They've done this crazy trade at the deadline. They roll into the playoffs with a starting five of Kyrie Irving. Let's say they traded Klay Thompson to make the money work. So it's Kyrie, Max Christie, Cooper Flagg, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Derek Lively. I mean, that's terrifying.
It'd be exciting. It would be very exciting.
But not going to happen.
Lively and Giannis on the court at the same time. Yeah, that does something for you.
But I mean, at the same time, and now I'm going to get off on a tangent. Anthony Davis and Lively on the court at the same time is just as scary. The only difference is with Giannis, you get a little more flexibility in perimeter defense that AD doesn't bring quite as much. But he's still, I mean, AD is one of the guys that when you look back at his Pelicans days and even like the bubble Lakers and stuff like that, this was a guy that many would say is the best defender in the NBA.
Oh yeah, I think he's still top 10.
Yeah,
totally.
I think so too. So there's also, look, we had a little Boston trade. George
hang on,
got
real
traded.
Quick,
hit me.
Let me give you one more thought on the Giannis thing.
Yeah,
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, they have this year's first round pick. This coming year, I believe they have their own pick. Fact check me while I'm talking. So I think they have their own first round pick, and if not, they are in control of a first round pick in the next few years. The Kuzma contract, I think, is movable. And I think Kuzma will actually show enough that I think somebody could be intrigued. So if I'm Giannis, I think that you can actually make a move towards the deadline where you move Kuzma and that first. And I think you're actually able to get a pretty decent return for that. So I would be looking at the moves they made over the summer, which I like some of the moves that they made over the summer. And then I think in the back of my mind, I would know, hey, I think we've got a pick and a contract that I could probably push as a top 3 player in this league. I could probably push ownership into moving to get one more piece. And if you told me they wound up with one more really good rotational player, either, a guard or a wing, they could do some serious damage in the East just because of how good Giannis is paired with those moves. So what did you find while I was talking?
Yeah, no, you're right. They have their own pick next year. They own a pick basically every year except for 2029. Like that's the only year they don't have a first round pick, but they have one in 26, 27, 28, 2030, 2031, 2032. So they could put a package together for a solid player. If Giannis is like, you got to get me somebody. Like I need a guard to set me up. Cole Anthony ain't going to cut it. KPJ is not going to cut it. And then they're not when it comes down to it. It's going to get them by in the regular season. But no, I agree. And again, I said this on a show on All Things Mavs when we posted one of these. Like Giannis is my early pick for MVP. I think he's going to come out swinging, guns blazing, both sides of the ball, and he's going to prove his value.
You want to know something crazy?
I love the guy. Hit me.
Yeah, you want to know something crazy? Luka is my pick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought you might say that. I mean, he should have won it 2 years ago, but we could get into that in another show. 34, 10, and 10. I mean, what else can you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, crazy.
But no, look, we don't really. I'm not even going to talk about the Boston thing that much. Not very
Yeah.
interesting. But I'm sure more news is going to come out. Eurobasket has started, so
Yeah.
we will talk a little bit about that on future shows as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Hit us up in the comments. What do you guys want to see? Like the video. Go follow us on X/Twitter. I'm at all_things NBA, and of course all_things_Mavs. Austin, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, so Twitter, I'm all _things_OKC. Come find me there, and then on TikTok, same. So come find us. We're on the road to we're on the road to a 1,000 followers on Twitter. We're only a few away, so come follow soon, and we'll get
Hey,
there.
by the time we upload this, you might be there. So
yeah, we'll be there.
We'll
be there.
We're just trying to hit like 10 subscribers on this channel first. So
Yeah,
let's
dude.
go ahead and do that. So
by tomorrow
appreciate
night.
you guys tuning in. Like I said, hit subscribe, like the video, do all the fun stuff, and we'll talk to you next time.